The witch wound, a scar in our shadow, hallmarked by persecution and silence. So I wanted to do a shadow reading because, we talk about in Tarotland, do your shadow work, do the work, whatnot. Well, where do you start? Figured I'd do a reading on that, see if we can get an anchor point into that. And it felt like the witch wound would be pretty relevant right now. You know, various people being persecuted simply for who they are. And a lot of us have faced that in our life. So I've got the Witching Hour Oracle out here, and I got the card for Invocations, the Power of Word. And it says, I recognize the power of my words and use them for the good of all. But it came out in reverse. And that kind of stumped me a little bit. Like, are you just not conducting any sort of invocation? And so I decided to look up the actual dictionary definition of that word, and I'm glad I did. It says the action of invoking something or someone for assistance or as an authority, or the beginning of a prayer. So essentially asking for help and coming out in reverse, not getting it. And in the context of a witch wound, that might be, on the basis of you being different than the person that you had asked for help for. Because there's a really, I don't know, I don't quite know how to put it, but it would be a way to keep you down without like actively doing harm. It would just be like saying that they're going to help you and then not showing up. Saying they're going to do something, saying they're going to send off a letter and then never sending off that critical letter, like whatever it was, or not giving you a piece of information that you needed to get through whatever situation that you're in. And so a little bit of a trigger warning up front, asking for help and not getting it. We might get into some uncomfortable topics, but let's get a card here, kind of root into this. So tell me more about either what we were asking for help with or why we didn't receive the help we needed. This is the Urban Crow Oracle. Freedom. Okay, yeah. So to keep you in place. Don't know why though. Freedom came out in reverse. Looks like a little bouquet of roses. It's very biblical. Like the sun rays coming out from behind it. But the crows on the bottom here, they kind of look like they could care less about what this other crow is doing. So I don't know if it's just cries for freedom being ignored. Let's see. When I pulled out another witch rune. That's the one for flight or birds. So that was the first thing that came to mind for me, was like the little, drawing as a kid and like the birds were M's. That's what these look like if that was hard to see on camera. So more synchronicity for communication and speech. That invocation. So what's the deal with not getting our freedom, somebody not wanting us to have our freedom? Because that could be not wanting you to have your freedom of belief. If it is a literal witch wound that you're dealing with, because you don't have to be a witch to have a witch wound. It's a wound of persecution. And there's also trying to formulate. You might be being persecuted because you have something someone wants. Like the Salem witch trials. Like, that was one of my formative, I was today years old when I found out moments, because I'd been so interested in the history of the Salem witch trials throughout my life. And then, made my trip to Salem and had a lot of complicated feelings, because the family rumor is that we're related to Rebecca Nurse. And even if that's not true, it got me thinking of, like, causality. Had things been a little bit different, maybe I wouldn't be here. And those are some pretty heavy feelings to deal with. And it wasn't until after I got back from Salem and many years had passed that I had heard about the property stuff that had to do with the Salem witch trials. That if you accuse your neighbor of witchcraft and they're found guilty, then you get their property. Like it was just a land grab. And we've got the Lovers in reverse. And how many is that? 6 of Swords in reverse. Another card of being stuck. Is this like somebody that you broke up with and they're not accepting it? Or is it like the job that never ends? Like, I've seen it happen with, like, internal promotions and such, where, someone's trying to either pursue their own interests within a career space, but they're so good at their previous role, the job, the company, won't let them leave their role. Like, they let them take on that promotion, so they've got all the new work from the new promotion, but they won't let them stop doing the old role. Like, they keep asking for things. And that's like doing 2 different jobs at the same time, but you're only getting paid for the one. And it could, depending on if that other job was taken to, like, reduce stress, it just ended up increasing it. But there's some sort of mismatch with the Lovers. It's like a union of whatever context, and you're done with it, but they don't want you to leave. And then 6 of Swords, that'd be like the Journey card in the Rider-Waite. There's a boat, like, kind of, you can see one half of the water is calm and one half of the water is unruly, whatever. So that's an attempt to leave to calmer waters that's being thwarted by this lover or somebody that wants to be lovers and you just are not interested. Like that whole just not taking no for an answer. Like, pursuing someone is only cute if they want to be pursued. If they don't want to be pursued, that's stalking, depending on what you're doing. Wonder why those fell out. I guess I'm taking all of them, because this is the Nightmare card, but it's in reverse. 9 of Swords. Are these what relieve the nightmare? 2 of Wands and the Sun. So this is what comes after the nightmare, hopefully. A 2 of Wands. they haven't quite committed to the journey yet, because the Three of Wands is like they are waiting on the cliffside edge for the ship to come in to take them away from this place and onto other things. But Two of Wands, it's like a contemplation of a journey, and there's two crows here. There's usually only one person in that. Maybe it's a journey to a union that's actually meant for you, for whatever you're trying to do. Somewhere where you actually would get help? Or do you need help to obtain your freedom? Like, if somebody is legitimately stalking you, like, do you need some sort of intervention? You know, if you do, talk to the appropriate people, please. And the Sun, I'm almost getting like an illumination on this situation that the people around you, something's going to happen to make them see that that need for help was indeed legitimate. Because it's like the cries for help are going unanswered. Which I can totally relate to. I haven't found much other of a solution than to just march on. Because if you're not getting the help you need, like, what do you do? Not invite those people back in your life. Just my 2 cents. Because if you needed help and they weren't around, and then something comes to light, and then they were like, oh, I didn't realize, like, you saying you needed help was legitimate. Like, you couldn't hear me talking. You couldn't hear me, like, coming to you through the, like, oh, you sound paranoid, like, whatever. Like, maybe listen. Like, maybe listen to what this person in your life is telling you if they're coming to you for help. Especially if there's a power dynamic and it's the vulnerable person coming forward. I've never understood the, like, well, what if they're the one that's being abusive? Like, yeah, that's possible, sure, but it's not the likely thing. Very unlikely. But on the left here, what needs to be done to obtain our freedom? Because the scrutiny for the Salem witch trials, or any witch trials, like, it's not great. It's like, what was it? The guy who wrote whatever paper that the vaccines cause autism claim was based on, and then he had to pull it from academia because of who he was being paid by. It was like by, I think, a competing vaccine company or something like that. Like, it was really shady. It was completely unethical, but the damage was done once that was out, because it wasn't widely broadcast that this guy had been shamed out of academia. Protection. There's a little egg there. A couple of feathers around it. Poppy. So protecting a new creation, that's how you achieve your freedom. Maybe it's like a path out. I don't know. A path out shows itself, whether it's some sort of financial boon, because if you're trying to escape a situation, often the thing preventing that is like material constraint. But an egg is something new. It could be sustenance. It could be protecting your resources, your existing ones. Maybe you've been fighting for more materials and they're just not coming in. The Hierophant. Institutions. So that could be reaching out to a larger institution for help. Depending on what that is. If it's an employer, it could be like whatever labor relations respective body of authority is for that. If you're a member of a union, if you're not a member of a union, maybe there's one available to join. Anything like that. The problem is when you get into situations like medical abuse, things like that, where you are not being believed, but maybe, say, a family member is. That's a really sticky situation. I don't know, because there's like diagnostic criteria I've seen that it like some of it gets based on even family accounts and whatnot. What if that family is someone who's causing trauma? Like, people don't seem to think about someone who's being abusive, coercive, anything like that, doing something that really is wrong. Are you waiting for them to admit it? Like, do we really think they're going to admit it? And then when the person trying to get help speaks up, the other person already has the control of the perception. Like what I was talking about with the vaccines causing autism thing. Because they don't, and that damage was already done. It's like as soon as a conclusion is latched onto, nobody can hear you talking anymore. Like once people have made up their mind, it is so difficult to get them to change their mind. Like they have to do it on their own. And oh, that reminds me, while I was meditating, a song that came through was In the Meantime by Lacuna Coil, and it's really pertinent because it's talking about surviving difficult times. Like, what are you supposed to do in the meantime while you try and sort out getting help, while you're going to people for help who could help you, but they're just not because they've latched on to the wrong conclusion? And the chorus was what? It's like the earworm. It says, in the meantime, I'm falling down. I don't know how to reset myself. I'm still stuck inside my mind. I can't breathe anymore. And that's that like buzzing of rumination. And it's so frustrating. It can be just so... You can be left in such a state of being dumbfounded of like, why can't they hear me talking? Like I'm speaking to them, I'm looking at them in their face, I'm telling them what's going on. Why can't they hear me talking? And then you get these like crap Instagram lines and stuff, like, don't be a victim and like this, and that. Like, I'm trying to get help. No one believes me. What do I do? And in some cases, it means estrangement. Because that process of persecution, even if somebody eventually comes around, are they honest to God expecting an open door after that? After you tried to talk to them, and then they had to go get information from someone else or something before they believed you, but they believed the other person. That, just my 2 cents, if you've had to separate yourself from someone who's done something like that, please don't let them make you feel like you ruined the relationship by pulling away. They're the ones that didn't believe you. So that might be why you need to go to a Hierophant. A neutral party outside of this situation, Knight of Cups. Someone who is not emotionally invested in what's going on. Someone who's more objective. Because they won't be so caught up in the perception stuff. Because they're completely outside of it. And if someone is manipulating perception, they can't do that to somebody who isn't involved. It's like the criteria for gaslighting. Hanged Man. A lot of perspective. But the criteria for gaslighting, that really has to be someone that knows you. There's some sort of power dynamic. They have to have background information on you. It's like somebody doing, I don't know, up close magic or something, and you can't see things from your perspective, but there's somebody in the back row of the audience that can see the entire thing. That's the objective Hierophant, Knight of Cups in reverse. And then the Hanged Man, seeing things from a different perspective. I feel like there's more there. Just from an outside perspective, because they don't have the blinders on. And maybe that's the creation. You're trying something new rather than going to people who you thought you could trust. You're going to people outside of the situation, which, very uncomfortable, very unfortunate situation. But if it grants you your freedom, then seems like the way to go. Over on the right here, tell me more about this Hierophant, the objective party. What can they see from the outside that people on the inside cannot? What can they see? Is that not the right question? Maybe not. What can they see that doesn't want to be seen? Here we go. Grief. So this is what doesn't want to be seen. And interesting, What a contrast. The beginning of life and the end of it. Two crows on both, and another audience. They seem a little more involved, though, than the freedom card, where everybody was just kind of doing their own thing. So this objective Hierophant can see grief that people inside cannot, but why is the grief hidden? That's what I don't get. Six of Pentacles in reverse, and this one has a scale on it. I think the other one does too, actually. It really caught my attention. Maybe like a justice theme. Ace of Wands. So that seed of the creative flame. So someone doesn't want you to have your freedom. That's grieving over a creative flame. No, I think this is your creativity. And they're not giving you the help you need to foster it. Does it pull something up in them? Like, gosh, I haven't seen this movie in a really long time, but The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The priest guy and Esmeralda. How he was like obsessed with her, but also hated her. Like her people, because I think she was Romani. Starving, sick, you know, they're not getting the resources they need because they're different. Maybe I need that third card to really make sense of this grief. Let's see. Page of Swords in reverse. Don't really clear it up for me, because that's the spy card. Like collecting information, but also a student, the student of the mind. So somebody who's stopped learning. I'm kind of getting that this is someone who's just fallen into a rut. And there's some sort of grief that they're in this rut. And you're not. Like you found creative solutions to start something new, or to at least to try something new. But I'm getting the sense that, like, had you received the help you needed, this egg would have hatched. Like, this is not a benign act. Which is probably why we need the objective Hierophant involved, to see things from that outside perspective. I want to see what the book says about the Page of Swords in reverse. The Page of Swords reversed represents a person who talks a big game but doesn't have the experience to back it up. The card reversed may also warn of jumping in too hastily without proper research, and as a result, wasting energy. It's almost giving me two That, like, say you're trying something new, something completely brand new, which equates to maybe some naivete. I feel like this person is like taking advantage of that. Like, it's not a direct approach to blocking your freedom, it's an indirect approach. Like keeping information from you, not doing what they say they're gonna do, and as a result it has like mysterious consequence, or to you it seems like mysterious. You know, why isn't anything I'm doing working? Like, why can't I make this egg hatch? Why can't I access my freedom? Because there's something passive but bad happening. And all because of a... Like, is this someone that is just obsessed with you? Like the Esmeralda and the priest guy? Like, he couldn't make up his feelings about her. He was just so obsessive. It was like he had to have her, but he couldn't stand her. I don't know, confusing. So what's being done passively that we can't see, that maybe our Hierophant here can see from their back row perspective? But it's like you're just not being given to because of who you are. Doing the work, making the sacrifices, but then in the middle of the night, they're coming in insulting your field and then going, oh, what happened? Dominance in reverse. They don't have dominance against you or over you. So this is what can't be seen. That they can't maintain dominance over you. So that's why you're not being given to. I don't know if you bruise their ego or something. Oh, interesting. I set that down because freedom is 19 and domination is 16, but they're both in reverse. So the freedom, it looks like a 6, and dominance, it looks like a 9. So there's like a swap. Like something flipped. Whatever dominance this person had, something changed to where they don't have it anymore and they're grieving over it. Like, weirdo. If you're trying to control people, you're the one in the wrong. People have autonomy. Oh, and I did a dice roll too. So Sun, Capricorn, and 5th house. So Leo. Creativity, play, romance. But what? How is dominance lost? Or how is it being eroded? Oh my Goodness. There we go. King of Pentacles. Oh. Your little egg's gonna hatch. Whatever that is. Keep it to yourself. That's just the thought that popped in my head. Especially dealing with anybody in your life who you tried to come to. Maybe even you just tried to come to them for whatever this new thing is that you're creating. And there was like a lackluster response. Maybe something was being said in the background. I don't know. That made them not take interest in what you were doing to try and like break your chains. You know, maybe you started a side hustle or something, and maybe as a means of trying to maintain dominance, this person like went after it. I can't even like... I'm almost getting like vicious rumors, like say you started a side hustle, but then like somebody came out with this like far-fetched like, oh, it's a front for something. I don't know. Or maybe your side hustle is something like OnlyFans and they just don't like it. It's not their business. Like, it's not their business what you're doing. Because I'm not getting the impression that this is somebody like within your nuclear circle, you know, like your innermost sanctum. This isn't a romantic partner. This isn't a lover. This isn't somebody who has any business telling you what to do. Maybe you're killing it on OnlyFans. Good for you. But I could totally see the analogy with the priest guy and Esmeralda. Like, he just didn't like who she was, but was like possessive and obsessive about her. Like, you don't even like this person. Why are you trying to tell them what to do? Like, just stay away from them. What else about this King of Pentacles? Ooh, goodness gracious. Wow. So we've got the Three of Swords in reverse, so relief of heartbreak. Knight of Pentacles. This has been slow moving. Slow progress. And it's not quite over. Sorry. The World in reverse. But it's like the song that never ends is what it feels like. That's just going and going and going. Like it should have paid off by now. Like, something should have happened with however much work that you're putting in. You're asking for help. Maybe you stopped. Maybe you stopped asking for help and just like kept going, you know, little Energizer Bunny. Did anybody notice? My inkling is to say no. They didn't. And you know what? Live your life. It's because your life goals, of course, they should be for you, to make you happy. But there's something to be said about getting community support and just having that, like, normal social interactions, you know, that... I'm trying to get away from using that word normal. But this, like, really passive, lackluster, like, oh, you just kind of exist in the background, and then when nobody else is available, I'll give you a call. Like, that's not support. That's not even taking interest in you as a person. That's just when somebody needs to hear, I don't know, the sound of their own voice and talk at somebody, like there you are. I've totally been the backup friend many a time. It's not a good feeling. And if you've got people in your life that are treating you like that, remember that when this is over. Remember all those silent nights. All those unanswered cries for help. And then you kept going on your own, which means the spoils are yours. And it'll be like a bittersweet feeling. Because this invocations, coming out reverse, what's that? It's tying together that someone used their power of words to harm. And other people listened. Like this person just had something against you because you're different. Maybe you are a witch. But it's something like immutable about you that they just didn't like. But you have something they want, like creativity, a prosperous side hustle, something, or at least the potential therein. But they're trying to stop you from obtaining your freedom. Whoever this person is, they don't see you as a human. They see you as an object. Because that wanting to control someone, possess someone, and then have them act as you want, that's like having a human doll. It's not a life. I felt like that a lot growing up. You get it's not even that you get the positive attention or affection, it's that you don't get the negative attention if you behave right. Like the range of experience was either negative or neutral. Unless there were other people watching. Then things seem normal. Get one more here. How's this Hierophant gonna pull through to bring this cycle to a close? Because I don't want to leave it on that note just of, it's never ending. It's going on forever. Enjoy. Oh, not quite. Territory. Ooh. Is Hierophant gonna lay down the hammer? Look at that. Look at all those birds. What was that movie? That horror movie? Birds? Is that what it was called? It's like flock of birds that would take people out. But territory. What about that? How is the Hierophant going to assert their territory? King of Wands in reverse. I'm kind of getting like strike down the king. Metaphorically. That the Hierophant is going to walk into the respective situation and be like, oh, you thought you are in control? No. Like, we oversee, this Hierophant oversees both people, and yeah, they're just laying down the hammer of, nope, we're done here. I don't know when, like what the timing is on that. Because Aries just moved into Neptune, and that's quite the historical signature. Uh, the next big one for the generational planets is uh, Saturn moving out of Pisces into Aries. So, two big generational transits, and there they will remain for, I think, a really long time, if not for the rest of our lifetime. Anything else about the King of Wands? Something feels incomplete. What about the King of Wands? It's too many. But that is Saturn. King of Swords, Ace of Swords. Oh. Well, now I'm curious. King of Swords, Ace of Swords, Death. Six of Wands, and 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So the King of Wands is like this, I don't know, authoritarian leader that doesn't want to issue you your freedom, your earned freedom, from what I'm feeling. King of Swords, that could be a lawyer. A judge, anybody of that ilk. They're the ones that's laying down the hammer because they've found the truth, and the truth brings in dramatic change. You know, death. Public victory. But not for everyone. Because that 10 of Pentacles, maybe that's the idea this person had in their head, that starting vicious rumors about you or your side hustle or something would lead to the 10 of Pentacles between you two. Which obviously no. Because even if things went in such a manner that you ended up in a partnership, in a union, whatever, with this person, it's on false pretenses. It's a castle on sand. It would just be chaos. Neither person is going to be happy. It's like persecuting you because they can't accept rejection. Man, serious stuff. We'll see if we get another song here. And again, Lacuna Coil, In the Meantime. I have been listening to them a lot lately. That's probably why they're stuck in my head. Such a good band. But one foot in front of the other. I really don't have much else besides that. It's just, even if you have to put on your metaphorical blinders to get through until you get your freedom, do that. This situation feels extremely unfair. It feels oppressive. And the only way out is through. It sucks. It's hard. people would just act right. People wouldn't be getting put through stuff like this, But for some reason, they don't act right, and then they act like morally righteous, morally superior. It's like that whole, the interpretation of love thy neighbor, but it's like love thy neighbor in order to make thy neighbor better, like save them, bring them over to, like, proselytize them over to the church. That's not love. Like, believe what you believe and have that open door available for somebody if they come to you, but let them have their own beliefs, And we've got frozen pizza and a movie night. Always a good choice. I've got a frozen pizza waiting for me. Scarlet Cross, Black Veil Brides, and Go Your Own Way, Fleetwood Mac. Perfect. Nice little variety there. Is Scarlet Cross another theme of persecution? Really good song. And obviously, Go Your Own Way, amazing. Probably a little bit easier to sing along with. I don't know, depending on your genre. But something to just help you on the road forward, because it's not anything that has really a magical solution. If you are a practicing witch, keep up where you can, give yourself a break if you need to, but there's no two ways around just having to walk forward and, get through that walk through hell. So keep your chin up. Frozen pizza and a movie night. Maybe watch something funny, lift your spirits. Watch something sad for that catharsis if you need to. If you need to cry it out and you're having a hard time connecting with your emotions, cry into your pizza. There's no shame in that. But overall, I hope this helps. I hope this resonates. And if it doesn't, I hope the next one does. Thank you so much.